one of the advantages of traveling to areas that are not popular or not on the radar screen for a lot of government analysts or people in the private sector is that you get to see where some of the biggest problems in the world are, but that are not yet on the front stage. This I see quite often in Central Asia, and I've traveled there on 6 or 7 occasions over the last 3 years. In particular to the Ferghana Valley. This is the most population-rich area of Central Asia. You have the confluence of 3 countries there, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kyrgyzstan. And this has been the home to anyone and everyone who's been a big name and a big actor in violent extremist activity, political Islam, underground movements. So we drove from the capital of Tajikistan, Dushanbe, up to Khujand in the Ferghana Valley, a 6-hour drive through 10,000-foot mountain passes. And it was amazing what we saw. First of all, we saw a lot of Chinese construction activity there, which speaks to the role that China plays in Central Asia, which is both good and of concern to the United States and to Russia and others. We also saw the impacts of poverty, tremendous amount of poverty as we drove through this area. And then we also saw the richness of the culture, the Islamic traditions there. But we also saw evidence of the corruption and of poor governance. And bringing this all together in an area that's had changes in borders, where you have weak borders, you've had transnational movements, great amount of narcotics trafficking, and you can see the results of the narcotics trafficking, for example, in southern Kyrgyzstan, where you have these amazing mansions that are owned by relatively low-level government officials. And these are homes that are built on proceeds from drug trafficking. They're what my friend calls narchitecture, which I think is a very catchy and appropriate term. And you have poor people who look upon this corruption and this wealth that's concentrated in just a few hands, and it gives them cause to join political movements that are seen as the only vehicle to redress those grievances. And that undermines the security in the area. So while these governments are focused on building their own personal wealth and preserving their own regime, they in fact are undermining it by demonstrating and flaunting this wealth and not allowing individuals to participate in political life, to participate in economic life, and in many cases to participate in their own religious traditions and customs. And this creates a very volatile mixture. In a place like the Ferghana Valley, it's off the radar screen for a lot of Americans and a lot of folks around the world. But this is an area of 60 million people, part of the former Soviet Union, bordering Russia, bordering China, bordering Iran, bordering Afghanistan and Pakistan, where we have tremendous instability. And 20% of the opium and the heroin that's produced in Afghanistan travels north through Central Asia and on to Russia and on to Western Europe. This is an area that cannot be ignored. There's a lot of factors coming together here, and I think it deserves greater attention.